Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm going to be doing my January wrap-up. So, like I've said in pretty much all of my videos recently, I have gone on a tiny hiatus from YouTube because I haven't had the time to film, but I knew that I had to film a January wrap-up because I did so well in my reading. I did read 6 books. I only have 5 on hard copy, so that's why I only showed 5 in the thumbnail, but I do have a couple pre-filmed videos that I can't wait to get out of there. But for now, let's get into my January wrap-up. So the first 2 books kind of go hand in hand, so I'm going to show them to you together. And they are Lola and the Boy Next Door and Isla and the Happily Ever After, both by Stephanie Perkins. I read Anna and the French Kiss in December of 2017, so it didn't make it into this video. But I love these books so much. This trilogy is one of the cutest trilogies I've ever read in my entire life. I gave Lola and the Boy Next Door 4 out of 5 stars and Isla and the Happily Ever After 5 out of 5 stars. I originally was going to give Isla 4 out of 5 stars because I found it a bit boring towards the beginning, but the ending was so perfect with all the characters back together, and the ending with St. Clair and Anna, I don't want to give it away because I didn't see it coming and it was such a pleasant surprise, so you definitely do need to read it to see what happens. I do recommend these books. I know that a lot of people that I personally know have been holding back on reading these just because they seem cheesy and they may not be worth it, because that's originally what I thought, but it really is a great trilogy with a lot of substance, and I think that especially around the time of Valentine's Day, you should definitely give these a read. The next book that I read was A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I do not have a physical copy of it. I read it in school on my laptop, but it was for a literary genre assignment. I gave it, I think, 4 out of 5 stars. I have read it before and I've loved it every single time. It's just such a timeless tale, and I've written multiple essays and answered questions and all that stuff on this book, so I'm kind of done with it, but it was still really good, and it's a classic that everyone really should read. So next, I have the book that literally all of you have been telling me to read, and I'm so happy that I finally read it. I continued with the trilogy. It's happening, and it is A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I love this. I don't know what else to say. 5 out of 5 stars, of course. I did write a very lengthy review on Goodreads, so I will link that down below. I give a little bit more of my thoughts plot-wise, but personally, I just love this so much. The world that Sarah J. Maas has created is amazing, and I do not want to say too much about this because I have already finished A Court of Mist and Fury, and I'm currently reading A Court of Wings and Ruin. And if you have read this trilogy, you do know that your viewpoint changes a lot in between these books, and I don't want to say too much for the fear of spoiling it. I think that you should definitely choose the way you feel about these characters. I know that how I feel about them has been influenced by people online because I was watching like tag videos that had characters from here before I read this. So I kind of was expecting what was happening, but I did love it nevertheless. The ending was just amazing. I personally think that if you didn't fully enjoy this, it's not like it ends on a cliffhanger. I think that this could have been a complete novel on its own. So it definitely still is worth the read whether you'd like to read the trilogy or not. And then I read Love Her Wild, a poetry collection by Atticus. Atticus is probably my favorite poet of all time. I know I love Rupi Kaur, but I just love Atticus so much. He started out on Instagram, for those of you who didn't know, and I had always seen his very short poems on Instagram and online, and if any of you follow me on Instagram, you would know that I use his quotes as my caption 80% of the time. And I just love them so much. So to have like a whole book of them, like, that's amazing. The illustrations in here are so good. I think that the way that this book was executed and the way that the poems flow together was incredible. There were certain poems that really did speak to me. I am on the younger side, so I didn't expect to resonate with this as much as I did. Not all of it was about love or anything like that. A lot of it was about women empowerment and finding yourself and even darker things like depression and sadness, and I just feel like I felt so enlightened by the end of this, and that's how you should always feel at the end of a poetry collection. So I did give this 5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoy it. I do think that they're on sale right now, only because I follow Atticus on Instagram, and I do think that they're on sale. So if you would like to purchase one to try it out, I highly recommend it. And the last and final book that I have read in the month of January was The Love Letters of Abelard and Lily by Laura Creedle. This was the Diversity Book of the Month pick for January, and I will leave all of our links down below. This month we are reading A Language of Thorns by Leigh Bardugo. If you'd like to join in on that conversation, please go check us out on Goodreads. This book is a new release that came out at the very end of December. I know that not a lot of people know about it. Basically, it is a love story between Lily, who has ADHD, and Abelard, who has Asperger's. And I was kind of hesitant going into it. I mean, I was the one that chose this book, but I was a bit hesitant going into it because I wasn't sure how well the representation would be, and personally, I haven't had experiences with ADHD or Asperger's or anyone who has it, so I wouldn't have known, and I feel like I really was trying to scrutinize every other part of the book because I wasn't sure how well the representation would be. To me, it did seem pretty accurate. The actual love story itself was very, very cute. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I really did enjoy their relationship together. They did make some decisions that I didn't approve of, but that really does show Lily's impulsiveness and Abelard's love for her. And yeah, I had wanted to write a review about it, but I don't even know where I would start. I read this book over the entire span of January, and I just can't really remember too much about it. And I mean, truly, I think I would really give it a 3.5 stars, but I always give books the benefit of the doubt and round them up. But yeah, I do recommend reading this if you'd like a good book about somebody with ADHD, because Lily is our protagonist, and I do think that being inside of her brain really did help us understand some of the choices that she did make. So I do recommend this book, but it's definitely not the best contemporary that I've read. So guys, that was my January wrap-up of 2018. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and all that other great stuff. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye!